What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for 2025, give you my price prediction, bull case, bear case, and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. And starting off, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans out there. Eat a lot, drink a lot, have fun, do what you need to do. So yeah, just want to say happy Thanksgiving, but getting right to it. So I did in June a video, some estimates on 2024, where I gave a bull and bear case. To save some time, bull case was roughly $4.50, bear case was $2. And lo and behold, here we are. So ultimately, 2025 is going to be a key pivot for Lucid, whether it succeeds or it starts to flop more than what it has done over the last little bit. So ultimately, there's a couple of things that are going to come out that I just wanted to share with you. So one is going to be further expansion in Europe, as what they've stated. So that's going to be one thing that they do, hopefully really driving up demand. Ideally, they would have a good marketing strategy in place. And so that hopefully will be one question that retail can ask management during the next earnings about what is their marketing plan, bigger picture, more specifically in Europe. But regardless, expansion. So they're going to be expanding as well in the Middle East, UAE. So definitely that's going to be a good thing, hopefully driving up demand. Gravity is going to be, in reality, the big key catalyst throughout 2025. Late 2025 is going to be that second variant. That's going to be lower price. So that one could be a very good catalyst. But for the beginning part, it is all going to be on how much they produce, and plus the demand, right? Like if they just come out and do, let's say 300, people are going to panic like nothing else. So starting off, going over here, there's going to be a lot of dilution, and I've been 100% accurate on when they are going to be diluting every time. For those of you that have been following this channel or even from Financial Journey, you would know that I have been on point with every time. And even though Peter says, hey, we have enough runway up until 2026, when Sherry's been stating, hey, we have enough funding up until 2025 and blah, 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 I've been calling out their BS. They've been wrong 100% of the time. So every time they talk on future forecasting, just plug your ears. They are absolutely incompetent when it comes down to that. So looking in 2023, they did burn from operations about 2.5 billion, 2.2 in 2022, and 2021 was kind of non-existent for the most part. And right now it's at 1.9, so it is fair to assume it's going to be roughly around that 1.4 most likely. So essentially that's a lot of dilution. One thing that could come out that will help alleviate some of that dilution is similar to what happened with Rivian. So they applied for that DOE, so Department of Energy loan. They got 6.6 billion. And that's kind of the highest I've seen, at least based on that. A lot of people seem to be hating on that, but that is a very advantageous loan. The whole application process takes roughly around 1 year-ish, but ultimately they have around 10 years to pay that back, and they can pay that in exchange of taxes. So it is a kick-ass deal, and plus that doesn't affect the stock. No dilution, no interest. It is a very, very good deal. So ideally, you would assume Lucid applied for that same thing, and this is why they've been stating over the last two earnings that they're going to be doing a lot more in-house production for batteries and various other things for parts. So that not only will help on cutting on costs, but that would also help in applying for that DOE loan. So I would ideally like to see in Q1 2025 them accept that, do some PR, because that would help alleviate dilution. And because dilution arguably is one of the biggest things that's been working against Lucid. And ultimately, it will come on to their production targets for 2025. Quickly going over here, so looking at estimates, so neglecting earnings per share for right now. So for 2025, the average is 1.74 billion, but 2025 is a key, like make it or break it. This is where Lucid is going to build either the foundation and move towards what their real goals are, or they're going to flop more than what they have done. And that's not just me saying it, that's analysts as well assuming it, because on a low end, 1.08 billion, high end 3.5. That is polar opposites, massive polar opposites. So when it comes down to, let's use this 1.74 billion, take that divided by roughly around that 80,000 per vehicle for revenue, that equates to around 21,750. So let's round up to 22,000. So analysts as a consensus are assuming that Lucid's production is going to be 22,000, which, coming from a logical investor standpoint, and this is probably why there's been that lawsuit that came out, because they have AMP2, or sorry, they have AMP1 up to phase 2. So in theory, they can do 90,000 per year based on current circumstances. That's fully operational. And then they have AMP2, which I believe can do like 5,000 or something like that. So logically, it should be able to do more than that 22,000, but realistically, I think it's going to come in between that like 12 to 15,000. So I think once they do announce that, the market's really going to hate on them, cause the stock price to go down. But the better question is whether they can actually achieve that or not, or if they can kind of overperform and whatever. But ultimately, given, let's say, this 1.74 billion, factoring in the earnings per share forecast, then as a bull case, by the end of 2025, I do realistically see around $5 to $6. I know that's not exactly where a lot of individuals want it to be. You have a lot of people saying $15, $20. Hopefully you guys follow me because you realize that I am realistic. I could easily very hype you up and just say, hey, you know what, this is going to $30 next year, but that just makes a fool out of me in the end. And honestly, that is assuming everything goes right. $5 to $6, and that's actually still a pretty good return on investment, factoring in as well a Trump administration and all the negatives associated to that. As a bear case, so my bear case is very similar to polar opposites based on this, and analysts are honestly the exact same mentality. Lucid could go many different directions, and so in my opinion, I think just given the lack of 2025 targets, what Lucid most likely will do, and just lack of catalysts, I think $1 is realistic. And yes, that is polar opposites, anywhere from $1 to $5, but it probably won't be in the middle. It'll either be one of those two. And if it is closer to that $1, it's a slippery slope before they get down to that whole reverse stock split territory. We've seen a lot of EVs go down that route where they get deficient with the NASDAQ, and then they have to do a reverse stock split, and then that's where they get on that slippery slope of doing more and more. So in reality, I know it's kind of crazy to see polar opposites, but I do not see the middle ground being achieved. So I don't see the stock price between roughly like $2.50 to $4. I don't see it there. I see it either one of the two ends, and that's just if Lucid is able to announce obviously a partnership would really help it bring in some more revenue. But it comes down to production. If Lucid can actually produce a vehicle, and honestly, given this, like everything that they have, there's no real reason that they cannot achieve 22 to 30,000 and what their original 2021 targets were. So yeah, that's my predictions. Let me know your predictions for 2025 in the comments below. Once they actually do announce some tentative numbers, then I'll do more of a revised kind of target, because if they come out and say, hey, 25,000 for 2025 for production, and that they're going to be kind of looking for this source of revenue, if they bring back ESS, that will change absolutely everything. So I think that would lean it more towards the bullish side rather than anything. But when it comes down to it, DOE loan is also a very big must to alleviate on a lot of Dilution. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One thing I do want to share with you though is I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto, and I've been absolutely killing it. So pop over there, take a look at some of my predictions, and plus I do actually have a free version on there as well. So if you're just looking to learn options, basic or beginner, intermediate, different variations of strategies, then pop over there and take a look. I'll be posting probably in the next couple of days more advanced strategies, but still pop over there, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.